I will change layout. Okay. Change layout. Okay, perfect. So I think I have a basic setup ready. So let's get started. So what we were doing yesterday, we were in the middle of a topic, and this last bit of that was remaining to be completed. So I'll just take that first, then I'll go back to one round of questions, and then we can resume for the new topic for today. So yesterday we were discussing analyzing cash flow statement, and we were saying that in cash flow statement, primarily the essence of a cash flow statement is that we want to know what happened to cash, and we get to divide them under three headings: that what happened to cash under cash flow from operating activities, under cash flow from investing activities, and under cash flow from financing activity. Basically, it is these three classification that was the essence, that we want to know about the cash. That is all right, but we want to know them under these three headings. So let us try to assign certain meanings to these numbers. That, for example, have you guys had any strategy courses so far? No? Marketing
No,
courses?
sir.
Marketing
Nice,
courses?
No, sir. No, sir.
No strategy, no marketing. Okay, fine, no problem. But okay, fine. So there is a jargon. I'm just trying to relate it to some other, how somebody's claim about a business can be checked whether they are making a correct claim or incorrect claim about a business, depending upon if you look at how their cash flow statement is performing. So what I want to remind you before we do this is that you have seen in our third topic, that is of managerial discretion, that how income statement and balance sheet can be influenced a little bit. At least the timing of when you show the profit or timing of how much you show the asset value can be influenced depending upon how much degree of managerial discretion the management has. So numbers can be influenced. Fortunately for us, cash flow statement cannot be influenced by managerial discretion. Like, things are very much, like, to a very great large extent, things are black and white here. So unless somebody is outrightly lying, for example, if you become a Ramalinga Raju, then things are different. But as long as you are trying to play with manipulation, then it's difficult to manipulate. So that is why this statement is going to tell us something which none of these existing statements would have. These statements are very important, but they are not sufficient to give those information that cash flow statement is going to give. Let me give you some example. Let us say, so the jargon I was about to mention is a BCG matrix. Anybody has heard of a BCG matrix? Anywhere?
Yeah, sir.
What is that? What is that?
So Boston Consulting Group.
What is the matrix? What does it say? Anyone?
Investment
Okay.
into different products.
Give it a try. Okay. Okay. Let me tell you. So there is a BCG matrix. They want to bifurcate all the companies or products or any business venture into a 2x2 matrix. What is this 2x2 matrix? In this 2x2 matrix, they want to bifurcate or segregate, not bifurcate would not be a correct word. Let's call it segregate. They would want to classify, rather classify is a better word. Classify any venture into this 2x2 matrix, which gives us 4 quadrants. On one axis, you are capturing the growth potential of a business venture. And on another axis, let us say you are capturing, let us say, existing market share. So this is future growth, this is existing market share of a company or a product or anything. Now, if the market share can be classified as either high or low, or growth potential can also be classified as high or low. So a company, so all of these four quadrants have certain names given to it. A company which has a low growth potential as well as low market share, they are called dogs. No offense to dog lovers. I don't know why BCG Metrics picked this word, but that's what they are called. So I cannot give my own word here. A company which has currently high market share, but it has already saturated, it has a low growth potential, they are called cash cows. Cash cows has become a common word. So, or rather it was a common word. So cash cow, they are called cash cows. Then there are companies which are currently having a low growth potential, low market share, but high growth potential. They are called question marks. And last quadrant is the company which are having a high market share as well as a high growth potential. They are called stars. Okay, somebody already knew this. Okay, no problem.
याद आ गया जब पहला उद्धव
Okay, fine. So, no Bollywood songs for you.
Cash.
Okay, what we are saying here is that a company can make a claim. Let us say an investor has come to you, or you have gone to an investor, or a company has approached to you, that they are claiming that deal with us because we are cash cows, or they are saying that deal with us because we are stars of our industry. Nobody is going to claim that don't deal with us because we are dogs, but I'm saying that if any claim is made about any business, how can you verify that whatever they're saying is correct or incorrect? Are there any rationals? What all will you do? Let us say somebody comes to you for any business dealing. They're saying that, okay, acquire us for a high valuation, or somebody is coming, they're saying that somebody is coming to you and then they are saying that buy our merchandise or become our client, or they are saying that go with a joint venture with us, any business dealing. And among all the claims, one of the claims they are making is that we are stars, or let us say, yeah, let us stick with stars. Now, how would you know that whether they are giving the correct information or not? You will look at, among other information, you will look at their financial statements. Now, in financial statements, we have seen that income statement and balance sheet can be influenced to a certain extent. But if you look at cash flow statement, then this question can be very easily and very straightforward answered. For example, let us say you have a company who has a cash flow statement like this. Let us say cash flow from operating activities, cash flow from investing activity, cash flow from financing activity. Let us say there are two companies, company A and company B. Both of them are in the same sector. One company has cash flow from operating activity as, let us say, positive 5 crore rupees. Then cash flow from investing activity, negative 15 crore rupees. Then cash flow from financing activity, negative, let us say, 9 crore rupees. Then you have company B, they have cash flow from operating activity, let us say 8 crore rupees. Then they have cash flow from investing activities, let us say positive 3 crore rupees. And cash flow from financing activity, let us say negative 10 crore rupees. Okay. Now, both of them have total change in cash of how much? I think both of them should have
1 crore.
1 crore rupees. Okay, both of them have net cash inflow of 1 crore rupees. Now, what are you going to comment about company A vis-a-vis company B? Let us say both of them are claiming that we are stars of our industry. Can you attempt to make any claim that which of these guys might be telling a truth, who might be lying? Yeah, Mahima, go ahead. Sorry, Manish. Is that Manish who? Yeah, Manish, go ahead.
I guess company A is a cash cow and company B is a star.
Okay, so Manish is saying that company A is a cash cow and company B is a star. And what is your basis for saying so?
If you see, it is repaying its investments and financial. Sorry, it's paying its financial obligations, and cash operations is positive. On the other side,
I should have done this one as a positive, right? Only then it gets 1 crore of positive. My bad.
then the perspective changes.
No, then perspective change. No,
ना
hold
सर
on.
वो ए वाला जो है सर वो आपका हाई इन्वेस्टमेंट है माइनस
इसको 11 कर देते हैं. Hold on. I want to make for both of them the net cash inflow same. So ये 11 है positive, और then you have 1 crore of yeah. Now I'm so sorry. So this is our example. Yeah. Let's go ahead. Try to give some commentary.
सर कंपनी ए जो है वो आपका स्टार है हाई इन्वेस्टमेंट माइनस
Okay.
15 करोड़
Okay.
right? और ये जो कंपनी बी है इन्वेस्टमेंट तो है बट इट इज एक्चुअली रीपेइंग इट्स फाइनेंसिंग ये कैश काउ है सर
This one is a cash cow. Now, how did you get this? There are 2 hints. Actually, there are 3 hints about this. One is that, okay, I don't know that how much is the cash flow from operating activity, but for both stars and cows, what should be the typical sign of a cash flow from operating activity? Let us say you have 4 options to pick from: small positive, big positive, small negative, or big negative. Which one should it be? For a cash cow and star?
Big positive.
Big
Yeah,
positive.
Big positive.
Big positive.
So from operating activity should be a big positive number that you are generating enough cash from here. Why? Because you cannot claim to be a cash cow or a star and you are having, let us say, negative 200 let us say 200 crore rupees of cash flow from operating activity. No, that right there is a counter indicative number. So basically, you must be generating cash, and that too in a good number. Then whatever number is a good number for your corresponding industry, that should be. So that is why I'm using relative phrases here, that small negative, big negative, small positive, big positive. So this cash flow from operating activity for a star as well as for a cash cow should be a big positive number. Let us say both of them are claiming to be stars. For a star, how should CFI and CFF ideally be? If the management is claiming that we are stars, then will they have negative 15 crore rupees of CFI or positive 3 crore rupees of CFI?
So negative.
इन्वेस्ट
They
कर
will have negative. Why? Because they are saying what is the meaning of a star, that not only currently you are big, you are also going to be even bigger in future. Is it possible in real life, by the way, that you already have captured the market, but you are even going to grow much faster in future? Is it possible in real life, or it's an
Amazon.
Amazon?
So Jio.
How is the growth coming?
Reliance.
Reliance, how? Give me the,
They are going into different sectors. Like the first, they are
So expanding.
So spending their
Sir,
horizon.
instead of horizontal, instead of going vertically, going horizontal.
They can. So I'll give you an example. Let us talk about, I don't know, LIC. Okay, let us say LIC is already a market leader, right? In the life insurance at least. But let us say the insurance practices itself are not that prevalent in India, that they themselves are growing. The market size, the pie, the size of the pie itself is growing. So it is very much possible. Similarly, as a lot of you have given example of Amazon and Reliance. Yes, what Amazon is doing, they are venturing into new markets. They have come to India. They might be going to some other places. They are expanding. They have already become market leaders, but they are expanding their entire size of the market itself. So this is very much possible.
Same
Yeah.
case with Apple, sir. मतलब जहाँ wherever the penetration is low, it
Yeah.
will always be the same case.
Yeah. So the bottom line is that what should happen is that not only you are already a market leader, you also are investing to increase your size. At least you must be investing something to maintain your size. You cannot be selling your long-term assets. What does this 3 crore of positive value means? That means you have sold more than bought the machines, right? Or land or equipment or whatever is your long-term asset. The moment you have a positive cash flow from investing activity, that is a sign where management itself is saying that we are not investing in long-term asset, but rather we are withdrawing money from it. So there was the contradiction for the claim of company B, that you are not a star. How about the last value? How should typically you see the sign of a star for as far as CFF is concerned?
So negative.
It can be negative, it can be small positive also. CFF, that is not that hard fast, because it depends that how much money you are generating from operating activity. It may be possible that you are generating whatever expansions money is needed, you are able to finance it from the operations itself, or you may need a little bit of support from in financing activity. But one thing is very clear, that if you are claiming to be a star company, then you have to have a big positive cash flow from operating activities, and ideally you should have either a medium negative or a large negative number as far as investing activity is concerned. Yeah, questions? Shweta, go ahead.
One question, when you're saying when we have minus 15 investments, so we are in a quite big debit, correct? Or
big debt? Are you asking for debt?
Debt यानी investments जो हमने किए हैं, so that is, or we are considering that minus 15 crore का equity raise किया है in that sense, or like long term asset नहीं, maybe
See,
I'm wrong.
Look at these numbers, how the story is to a very great extent clear here, that I have not even given you the breakup of all of these. So when you get the breakup that is available in cash flow statement, the story is going to be exactly clear. But even this aggregated numbers are giving so much information. We are saying that for company A, they have invested in net 15 crore rupees, 1500 crore rupees to expand their business. How do I say that they have done it to expand their business? Because CFI essentially only means investment in long-term assets.
Okay. So like,
and there the number is a big negative number. How do I know big negative? Relatively speaking, as compared to these two numbers, it's relatively bigger number. Now they have generated a profit of 500 crore rupees. It may seem that not only they did not bother to give it out to the all the stakeholders, that they have not done dividend payment, or even if they might have done it, they have taken more from the investors than they have paid it back. So basically they have generated 5 crores from their operations itself. They have generated 1100 crore rupees by raising new debt or new equity. The detail can be seen once you see the detail of this statement. And then what have they done with this money? 100 crore rupees they have let their cash reserve go up, and the remaining has gotten invested in the investing activity to expand the scale of the business. So this is a very clear sign that you are a star company. Management is claiming is actually doing what they think is happening with their business. But the same is not true with the company B. Let us compare that quickly, and then I'll take rest of the questions. What is happening in company B? Management is claiming that we are star companies. They are also generating a huge cash inflow from operations. But if you are a star, then what you would be doing with this money? If this money is too much, maybe a little bit you would be paying away, but a huge amount should be getting invested in expansion. But here we see that there is a positive sign of investing activity. Positive sign means what? You have generated cash by selling your long-term assets. Now, why would somebody sell long-term assets? Of course, in a particular year, this can be a very one-off transaction may be driving this. So if you look at 2 or 3 years trend, then you see that every year it is like this, that somewhat positive, a small positive number from the investing activity. Then you will get the story. You will get the story is that management is claiming that we are stars, but even if they have the money, they are not confident about investing in it, in their own business. Unless they are like, I don't know whether there is any such unique business where you can expand your scale even if after you are selling your long-term asset. It doesn't make sense, but if that is the case, somehow you have found that kind of a business, do let me know also. I would also like to invest with you. Okay, question. Go ahead, Deepak.
So, sir, like we are for company A, CFI is negative 1500.
Yeah.
And positive CFF of 1100.
Yes.
We are investing 1500 and raising 1100 from the market.
Yes. Yes.
So if that 1500 is say 700 negative,
yeah,
so we are raising more from the market, but investing only 700. are we still go with the same opinion which we have right now?
See, what we are saying here is that, see, one thing you should understand, that these numbers must be seen in the relationship with the size of the industry itself. For example, these 500 crore rupees, maybe the kind of industry you are into, even 500 crore rupees might be a very small number, right? So here all we are talking about is relative size. So this 700 crore rupees, are you talking about in relation to the CFO?
Not in relation to the CFO, but I am saying we are investing less than what we are raising.
तो उस पैसे का करेंगे क्या? फिर क्यों रेज किया था? What he is saying, what Deepak is saying is that, let us say you raised 1100 crore rupees and you invested only 700 crore rupees. So typically no wise business person would want to do it. कि पैसे रेज करके लेके बैठ गए, because whenever you raise money, be it equity or debt, you need to pay something. There is certain expectation, either it is mandatory expectation, or it is expectation of you will raise the share price, or it is expectation that you will start giving dividend, or both. So it's very difficult. Maybe in this year they are not invested, maybe they are still looking for more avenues, or maybe some deal is still going on, they have raised money and they are about to invest later on. But what am I talking about here is that this need not be, so what if the Deepak's question can be interpreted in this manner, that it is not necessary that you should be investing all that you are generating. It is not what I'm talking about. That depends from case to case. But what I'm trying to start is that it's very clear cut that this number should consistently be more of a negative number than a positive number, if you think you have a growth potential. Also, relatively speaking, on an average, this should be a higher negative number. It cannot be a very small negative number. What do I mean by a great negative number or a small negative number? Some amount of investment in long-term asset will be needed just to maintain that scale that you are already operating. For example, let us take into consideration Tata Motors. You are talking about Tata Motors. Tata Motors already has certain assets in place. Now, these assets in place, every year, some assets will get discarded. So just to replace them, you will have to purchase new assets. So some amount of cash flow from investing activity is going to be there with a negative sign just to maintain the scale of the business. So that is why I'm saying that, relatively speaking, to know more about what is relatively speaking, how much is that cutoff, you need to study the rest of the financial statement of the company, and also you need to examine the competitors. But what is going to be constant is that once you have examined that, then relatively speaking, you should see a great investment happening in the CFI activities if the management thinks what they claim to you. If management is thinking that they have become dogs, that there is no growth potential, but just to get the project or to get associated with you, they are making tall claims that they are stars, then you can catch them. You can look at their how much cash they are generating over the years, and what are they doing with the cash. Okay? Yeah, Umesh, go ahead.
Yes, sir. So, sir, basically I have two queries. So, जो CFO देख रहे हैं, so are we saying that, like, on what basis we are comparing these two companies? Because A might have 1 lakh employees and B might have
no, that is assumed, Umesh, that they are both competitors of the same size and all. Okay. So I'm assuming that those things you have taken care of. Okay.
And second query is
that Amazon से शर्मा जी की दुकान को मत compare कीजिएगा. That's what he is talking about. Okay, please go ahead.
Okay. And second query is that when we talk about this BCG matrix, so it gets updated every year, because this cash flow statement is for 1 year. So by looking at this cash flow statement, we are saying that this company is cash cows or stars.
Okay. So Umesh, there is no, I don't think that there would be a database which is classifying all the companies into these metrics and giving them, like we are giving information after every 3 months or 6 months or 1 year. ऐसा कोई annual database नहीं चलता है. It's just that when you are going to deal with another company, let us say you are Reliance and you are thinking that should I partner with, let us say, ONGC for a new oil exploration. So at that time, you will do certain checks about ONGC, whether it meets the cut to be associated with you or not. So at that point of time, you will gather information from different sources. Let us say they are saying, or whatever. Let us say a new venture has come to you. You are the bank manager. They are saying that give us the loan. That give us a loan from your bank. Now you are thinking, you are worried that this guy will become a new Malia. What do I do? How do I know? So apart from other information, you also look at their cash flow statement and look at how these three segments are operating. And you then try to identify that whatever claim they are trying to make. So for example, even if let us say you didn't know BCG matrix, this is just to, this example or these words are used only to make you that all the management education or the jargons and learnings are interlinked, because we are dealing with the business. But let us say they are not using these words. They're simply saying that we are already a market leader and we are growing at a tremendous speed. Basically, they are saying we are stars. अब वो stars word नहीं use किया होगा. So bottom line is that it is not that at one point of time you need to prepare a report and classify all the companies. What we are talking about is that if you are trying to make any opinion about any company for any reason, then there are certain insights that you can get from cash flow statement that is not available as easily and as clearly from the income statement. For example, what does management think about the growth potential? If you think that management is thinking that they will grow, you will necessarily see big negative numbers in CFI. If you think that, for example, let us talk about another company. There is a company which is consistently showing profit, but it is cash flows from operating activity is some small negative number every year. From past 2 or 3 years, every time it is small negative number. But if you look at the income statement, it is a big profit. 5,000 crore का इधर profit है, 7,000 crore का इधर profit है. Let us say again 6,000 crore का इधर profit है. Let us say last 3 years you are looking at. But when you look at cash flow from operating activities, they are showing a negative 200 crore rupees ka in first year, negative 350 crore ka second year, and negative let us say 850 ka in third year. What does this mean? Anybody? Can first of all, is it possible in real life?
हाँ सर, हो सकता है. एसेट बेच के पैसा कमा सकते हैं, इंटरेस्ट और इन्वेस्टमेंट से भी पैसा आ सकता है.
Money is not
Burning model, boss.
Money is not coming. Yes.
Operating
Basically you are making sales and maybe everything is on credit. आपके पैसे वो लेके भाग चुके हैं, आप अभी तक उसको जोड़े जा रहे हैं कि yes हमको वो आएगा, पैसे देगा. Right?
Isn't it a burning model?
Come again. Is it?
Like many new age economy companies like Flipkart also are on a burning model.
Last part.
Cash flows are negative.
No, see, cash flows are negative. Let us say you have just started your business. Your profit is also negative. Your cash flows are also negative. That is perfectly all right. What I'm saying here is that if there is a contradiction, now this is a contradiction. Cash flow from operating activities, year after year it is negative number, and net profit year after year from past 3 years, 4 years, this cannot be sustained for a very long period of time, but at least 3-4 years one can play around. So you are showing a huge amount of profits, but cash flow from operations are negative. How is that possible? That means that in one particular year, if it happens, then unless in the next year or at max in the next to next year, there must be a huge reversal. कि आपने किसी को मान लीजिए कि इस साल में बहुत बड़ा सेल कर दिया था और all the sale is on credit. So you will end up showing that sale as a credit sale and you will show the corresponding profits. But cash has not come. So it is okay for one particular year. That is why I created 3 years here. You are seeing that just hold on. For this company, year after year, this is a negative number. That means what? That something fishy must be happening. That they are maybe not creating enough provisions. They are not creating enough calculations for possibility that people have already absconded with their money. Or maybe they have done a related party transaction, or I don't know what kind, all sort of fishy transaction. क्या बोलते हैं यार? Round tripping transactions they have done just to inflate the sales, but actually it is their own money with the goods are with them, The money is with them and nobody is purchasing their products. So these kind of claims can be busted once you compare net profit with CFO. That consistently there cannot be huge mismatch. It needs to, over a period of time, catch up. Yeah, now questions. Yeah, Umesh, go ahead.
Sir, I just forgot to.
Okay, done. Yeah, Manish, go ahead.
Yeah, sir, I was talking about, sorry, I take an example of Paytm.
Okay.
Consistently, they are showing, say, negative cash, CFO over the years. But their, the profits are going up maybe because of the investment activities or the
अरे
investing.
नहीं मनीष, ऐसा नहीं होगा. वो CFO नेगेटिव नहीं होगा फिर. The entire net cash flow can be negative. Net cash flow, which is after CFO, CFI and CFF, that is perfectly positive. If you are generating money from your operations, this needs to be positive. What we are saying here is CFO only. That CFO needs to, on a long run basis, CFO needs to catch up with net profit. It cannot continue to go in two different directions for a very long period of time. If it is happening, that is a very clear sign that something fishy is happening in that organization. आपको समझ आ रहा है why?
Yeah. Sir, so आजकल we talk about burning models, basically major startups which is coming in. So how do you categorize them? Do you categorize them as stars or do you categorize them?
Let us see. Okay, so that I will take in a bit. In 2 minutes I'll take. So before that, Manish Savla, your question.
I think you said it like for a very long term. If it is not long term, just 3 years, think from a construction company perspective like DLF and all, right? Or some
construction company, Manish, that simply straight away means that you have not seen revenue recognition ke those 2 videos, unfortunately. These questions are answered in that video. So that is the reason why I have to put quizzes. But yeah, you're right. For construction companies and companies with a long gestation period, it's perfectly all right. Those situations can occur. You're right.
Thank you.
Okay. Here we are talking about just a normal company. That a company like, for example, Paytm. For them, you should not see this detachment for a 3-year period. For them, the 3-year period itself is a very long period of time. It should have caught up at max in 1 year, at max in 2nd year. Okay? Yeah. Hemant, go ahead.
Sir, I understand the generalization around CFI, but sir, is it more applicable to the companies which are sort of, asset-heavy companies? They need to geographically expand. What about financial services companies, right? There, do we sort of focus more just on the CFO component?
Actually, for all the companies, cash is important. You cannot exist just because you are a very righteous company to exist on the planet. You need to make money, right? And for example, let us take example of, for example, I don't know, even Yes Bank could be taken an example. That when some of their borrowers ran away with the money, they should have prepared enough provision. I don't know whether they have done it or not. That you can go and check in their financial statements. That will take a hit not only in CFO, but also it will take a hit in net profit. So both of them should move in the same direction. My point is that if they are both moving in 2 different directions, net profit, that is why I have given you big positive numbers here in 3 consecutive years. And somewhat negative numbers, not very big negative numbers. This was also very big negative number, I don't think that you will be able to survive for 3 more years. But if the numbers are going into 2 different directions completely, and you don't have reasons like Manish was saying that you are not a construction company or such, then this gives rise to suspicion. And what I'm trying to say is that highly likely you need to know more about these companies, and you may end up finding certain details which you might not like. Okay, so whatever we are going to discuss here right now and also in the next class or rather next topic is that these are the indicators. They are saying that, look, I am giving you a red signal, go and inquire about me. If you open it and you see that everything is perfectly all right, then it's perfectly all right. But all it sees is that if you look at these kind of signs, it gives you an indication that ask more question. Don't be satisfied, because there is, on the face of it itself, there is certain indication that you need to know a little bit more about me. That's what we are trying to say. So as all of you are telling that there may be a certain justification for all of this, but all that this discussion is doing is that it is pointing out that at least ask those questions, that do you have justification for this, do you have justification for that, that why they are moving into two different directions. Let us say government ने ban कर दिया, कोई oil company है and government ने ban कर दिया कि हम आपको next 3 years का पैसा इकट्ठे देंगे. Then what will happen to their CFO? They will start incurring negative numbers in their operating activities. But they should have a reasonable justification for the disjoint net profit and CFO. Yeah, Pulkit, go ahead.
Sir, how about a company like Oyo, wherein every year they are getting too much of fundings kicked in, yet their CFO is negative, like they are making losses. So in that case, their CFO and NP would look very similar.
Okay, there are, for example, I don't know, for so many years I kept on hearing about a startup called Flipkart. आप लोगों ने सुना Flipkart? He was almost like Parthiv Patel of the.
Yes, sir.
बहुत सालों तक स्टार्टअप ही रह गया. अरे कब प्रॉफिट कब कमाओगे तुम? So there can be those companies, but it's okay, it's all right. All kinds of companies are there. See, business does not mean that you start a business and straight away start making profit. There are so many different ways in which you can run a business, and also all the startups are not a success. But does it mean to say that there are no loss-making companies, or all loss-making companies shut down in next 2 years or 3 years of losses? Maybe not so. If there are other buyers, somebody thinks that, okay, we can purchase this company and turn it around. We can benefit from the huge customer base that Flipkart has. So they will buy this consistently loss-making company for a huge market value. So that is perfectly all right. This is completely business side of the परफॉर्मेंस कि आप घटिया परफॉर्मेंस कर रहे हो, आप 7वीं में फेल हो गए थे, 8वीं में फेल हो गए थे, 10वीं में नहीं, 10वीं थोड़ा ज्यादा हो गया, 9वीं में फेल हो गए थे, still people believe that yeah, you can do it. Maybe they are seeing certain signs that yeah, there are certain qualities in you which are not depicted by the current scores that you are scoring. So that is perfectly all right thing to happen in the market. Yeah, Gaurav, go ahead.
Right. So one thing which comes for pharma and high tech company, right? They have a large R&D cost, which will go into operating, right? And that could be a huge negative. Like let's say right now in COVID period, people were investing heavily on that. Yeah. So and let's say the medicine does not come out for 3 years and they all still have a negative CFO. Then it shows like what the logic which we are following here, right? The CFO should be positive. It might not be always the case, right?
That's okay. It's very similar to the question Pulkit was asking. Don't get emotionally attached to these numbers. Just try to find out that do they make sense or not. Okay, so that's what I was trying to say, that if you see those numbers and there are very genuine reasons to do so. For example, if you look at many companies, the company's profit from last to last year, for example, the year ended 2020, March 2020, compared to that, for most of Indian companies, the profit in the year ended 2021 has fallen down. But if you look at their valuation in stock market, the stock market is going crazy. Now, how is it that stock market going crazy, that the companies are making less profit and you are putting more value to that? Does it make any sense? It still may make sense. Why? Because they are thinking that the kind of hit the corona has given, we should have seen, for example, these companies to plummet by, let us say, 10% or 20%. Let us say the companies have plummeted only by 2%. What does it tell you? It tells you that these companies are resilient. So that may be one of the justification for these kind of absurd valuation that you are witnessing in stock market in India today. Maybe in other countries also, but I don't track other countries. So the bottom line is that you may end up seeing profit-making companies, you may end up seeing loss-making companies, you may end up seeing companies which were making profit, now they are in losses. There are many such companies. Look at Tata Motors, look at BHEL. These companies have been making losses from past many quarters, but you look at their valuation, it has gone crazy. So the reason is that in future, there are certain signs looking at the past that in future, the investor thinks that there will be a huge turnaround. Only point I'm trying to mention here is that look at these numbers, they are going to tell you a story, and at some places they are going to point out that inquire more about me. The moment that happens, you should ask more questions, and if you are getting some good answers, then you will be having much more rich insight about the company, and you will end up making a better decision than if you ignore these numbers. ठीक है, समझ आ गया?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Needless to say that how would the cash flow numbers for a question mark or for dogs will behave? I think you can get it now. Just quickly for question mark, typically how should CFO be? 4 options.
Negative or very less positive.
Low होना चाहिए sir. Low.
It can be low. It can be low positive, or it can even be low negative. Ideally, in extreme situation, it can even be huge negative. But definitely, it will not already be huge positive. Huge positive means you have already captured the market. Okay. But most importantly, for this also, the CFI should definitely be negative number. Consistently a negative number. Either medium negative, depending upon whether you have money to expand, or a big negative number, or rather, sorry, a big negative number if you have money to expand, and a small negative number or medium negative number if you don't have money to expand. But CFI should be a negative number. Why? Because you should be investing in your expansion. Okay, let us move ahead. Any questions up till here? Okay, so this was just one of the way to give you a flavor of trying to understand the story about a company looking at the numbers. Now we will move formally to the income statement and balance sheet. So we will do a little bit of detailed understanding here. So rest of the time that we are left with in this session, we'll try to devote it to this. So we are trying to understand that how to analyze financial statements of a company or any entity, and in that we are primarily trying to talk about income statement and balance sheet. So how do you do this? Ignore the leverage. So this is where we started. We said that we may be different stakeholders. This is where we started our entire course. That we said that if you are a stakeholder and you want to know about a company, you are a manager, employee, supplier, or lender, investor, or whatnot. You want to know about a company, the most important source of information can be financial statements. So now we are going to, after having studied how, in a nutshell, how are the numbers arrived at, what is the meaning of different terms, now we are trying to assign meaning to the numbers. Okay. So there are these 4 means, in a very broadly speaking, the tools of financial statement analysis can be classified into these 4 categories: number 1, 2, 3, and 4. Number 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and 3. These are very simple, very intuitive. Even if nobody told you how to analyze financial statement, you would have anyway done this. But I will tell you what do they do. But let me make it very clear that just in a minute's time, you will see that these are very easy and intuitive things to do. Doesn't mean that they are less important. So for example, let us say you have financial statements available with you. Let us say you are trying to analyze a company called, let us say, HUL. And you have financial statements available with you. What are one of the first few things that you will do? What will you do? Anyone? Statement मिल गया, अभी क्या देखेंगे उसमें? Profit देखेंगे. Okay, fine. Profit है, let us say 800 crore rupees. Fine. अब क्या?
Sir, year on quarter profit, यानी quarter profit.
So basically, Shweta is saying that she will see that from last quarter to this quarter how much you grew, right? You will see growth.
Yes, sir. Growth will be important.
Compare this quarter with the last quarter. Okay, fine. Comparison. Okay, fine. What else?
asset to liability ratio.
Asset to liability ratio. Okay, fine. Asset to liability ratio. ऐसा क्यों करेंगे भाई?
So अगर ratio positive है तो
So know how much are the
you have more
payouts.
assets.
Okay, fine. Anything else?
Debt, sir.
कैश की हालत.
डेट कितना है? ओके फाइन. लोन देख लेंगे. डेट कितना है? लोन मान लीजिए पता चल गया कि इस साल है हमारा लोन 700 करोड़ रुपीस का.
कैश कितना है?
व्हाट डू यू डू?
कैश
कितना है? कैश मान लीजिए पता चल गया कि आपका कैश है 1500 करोड़ रुपीस. देन व्हाट विल यू डू?
सर बैड डेट चेक करेंगे कैसा जा रहा है.
बैंक
मतलब बैड डेट प्रोविजन फॉर बैड डेट.
बैड डेट मान लीजिए दैट इज आल्सो सम नंबर. व्हाट विल यू डू विद दिस नंबर? लेट अस से बैड डेट है कुछ नंबर. लेट अस से 200 करोड़ रुपीस का बैड डेट है.
लास्ट ईयर से चेक करेंगे.
लास्ट ईयर से कंपेयर करेंगे. सो वन थिंग इज वेरी ऑब्वियस दैट समबडी इज सेइंग लास्ट क्वार्टर से कंपेयर करेंगे, समबडी इज सेइंग लास्ट ईयर से कंपेयर करेंगे. इट्स सो ऑब्वियस थिंग टू डू दैट हियर वी स्टैंड वेयर वी वर इन लास्ट ईयर. दैट्स ऑल इज हॉरिजॉन्टल एनालिसिस. So you compare yourself with last year is called horizontal analysis. If you compare yourself over a number of years कि last 5 year में हमारा sales कैसा बढ़ा है, last 5 years में हमारा debt कैसा बढ़ा है, last 5 years how has cash changed, last 5 years how has bad debts changed. So that is called a trend analysis. Number 2. So very simple, horizontal and trend analysis. What is the difference? Here you compare just one previous period, and in trend analysis you make a trend for some 5, 6 or 10 depending upon how many years in the past or how many quarters in the past are relevant. You would want to make a trend out of it. Have you heard of the word CAGR? कभी सुना CAGR?
Yes, sir.
क्या होता है ये CAGR?
Compounded
annual growth rate.
Compounded annual growth rate. So basically you would want to see, let us say you are talking about profits. So today's profit is 800 crore rupees. That is a piece of information, but unless I have a reference, I cannot assign meaning to this. So one of the reference would be that let us say 3 years back the same company had, let us say, or 5 years back the same company had 250 crore rupees of profit. So now you can assign a CAGR to this number, that from 250 to 800 the company has grown in just 4 years or 5 years. So you can find a growth rate to the profit. Similarly, you can find a growth rate to sales. So these are some of the very intuitive things to do. Nobody needs to tell you in a highly paid management class that do this, but nonetheless do not forget that these are not less important just because they are very intuitive and simple things to do. So whenever somebody asks you to analyze companies, make sure you do both of these, horizontal analysis and trend analysis. Analyze the immediate past and analyze a trend over a past few years. Number 3 is also pretty intuitive, but let me try to tell you what does it mean. So unless we give jargons, we will not sound enough sophisticated, right? So that is why for a horizontal analysis, we have a vertical analysis. Okay. So what is the vertical analysis? Vertical analysis simply gives the relevance of different component parts within a year, or rather within a period. For example, let us say you have an income statement. Let us say sales is 800 crore rupees. Let us say minus COGS is 200 crore rupees. Okay, let us say salary is 100 crore rupees. Let us say rent is, let us say again 200 crore rupees. And let us take one more, depreciation is, let us say 100 crore rupees. So this is how my income statement looked. And that's how you have a profit of how much? Let's say profits of 200 crore rupees. So to make a vertical statement of the same, what will I do? I convert one of these figures, any of these figures, to be 100% or 100, and then represent all rest of the number as a relative number. What do I mean? Let us say sales is 100%. Okay, let us say sales is 100. So if 800 is 100, that how much? Then how much is 200? So you will just represent everything as a proportion. Okay, so that is how much does it come? 200 is how much?
25%.
25. So you have COGS of 25, you have salaries of 12.5, you have rent of 25, and you have depreciation of 12.5, and that's how you have a profit of 25 rupees. Now you see that right now here even these numbers were very simple one because I wrote all the rounded figures. But let us say you have a sales of 439.624 crore rupees of sales. Then your salary is 286.4 crore rupees. So it might be a little bit difficult to assign their relative importance. That compared to sales, how important is COGS? But once you convert them into vertical statement, look at their relevance is exactly clear. It's almost like you have converted them into percentage. If you want, you can call them percentage also. So if sales is 100%, I have 25% of expenditure as COGS itself. This much is my inventory expenses. Then of that 12.5% is going to my salaries. Then 25% is going to rent and 12.5% is going to depreciation. That is how from every 100 rupee of sales, I am able to generate 25 rupees of profit. So if you prepare a vertical statement, the relative importance of all the components in an income statement or balance sheet for whatever statement you are preparing, it becomes very much clear. What can you do with this? Maybe you can compare the last year's number. That let us say for 100 rupee of sale last year, the cost of goods sold was, let us say, 18% itself. So maybe you will go and ask your purchase manager, "Tum batao bhai, what are you doing?" For example, let us say employee salary has earlier was, let us say, 12%. Now it has gone to 12.5%. You will go and ask your HR department that is it justifiable, half a percent increase, or is it not? Fine, samajh aaya? What is a vertical analysis? Very simple, very easy to do, but nonetheless equally important. Typically, when you prepare vertical analysis for income statement, then you convert sale, or rather typically, like in general, you assume sales to be 100%. Similarly, when you try to prepare common size statement of a balance sheet, or by the way, did I say that this statement is called a common size statement? I missed it out. So when you do the vertical analysis, you prepare something which is called a common size statement. What do I mean by common size statement? You bring all the numbers to same size. That's what I did just now. That in this example, I converted my income statement to common size. Everything was converted to the same scale. By assuming sales to be 100%, everything was converted to the relative size. So how do you prepare common size of income statement? It is not mandatory for you. You can treat any number to be 100%, but typically it is much more intuitive if you bring sales to be 100%. Similarly, when you prepare common size of a balance sheet, it is much more intuitive when you do the total of the assets. Let us say this is the balance sheet, this is the assets, this is the liability, and you have the totals here. Typically, it is much more intuitive when you bring this total to be 100% and represent all these components as a proportion. So you will see that cash was, let us say, 18% last year, and this year the cash has increased to 19% of the total assets. That means that relatively speaking, the liquidity of the business has gone up. ठीक है, समझ आ रहा है क्या बातें हो रही है? या दीपक बताओ. बता दो भाई.
Sorry, I was on mute. So the scale will be different for both the statements.
Yes, yes. For both these statements, you will create their own corresponding scales. For income statement, because the scales are getting created within that statement. Income statement का आपका scale balance sheet से नहीं आएगा और vice versa भी नहीं होगा. So within the balance sheet, you are assuming one of the component to be 100%. Typically, you assume the total of the assets or liability to be 100%. Okay, Pulkit बताओ.
Sir, even though we are doing a vertical analysis over here, but this common size statement will not make much of the sense until unless we do a horizontal analysis of this vertical statement.
Yes, that is true. That
Even though
I think that is very intuitive. That you found. See, Pulkit's question is very important. I want to take the rest of the class also on board. What he's saying is that vertical analysis only makes sense when you do horizontal. That is, you have created relative importance of the different numbers. Now, unless you compare with the different previous years, it doesn't make any sense. The answer is yes and no both. Typically, this is what you would do, but you can compare yourself with not only with your own past, you can compare yourself with your peers. For example, agar aap, let us say you are PepsiCo, and for you, for every 100 rupee of sale, let us say you are spending 25 rupee on the bottles. Whereas, let us say Coca-Cola is spending only 12 rupees on bottles. You will straight away go and ask your bottling department that what are you guys doing? How are they so efficient and we are not? But you're right that apart from comparing yourself with your peers, you may also want to compare yourself with your own past. That from your past, have you improved or are you deteriorating? If you are improving, in which areas you are improving? If you are deteriorating, in which areas you are deteriorating? So straight away you can pinpoint that these are the cause of concern areas for my company, and these are the areas which deserve more bonus. Yeah, Gaurav, go ahead.
So one thing which you said, right, to benchmark your number with the other company, right? But how do we say this benchmark is the benchmark? Like, because we have seen firm like in my current firm, right, we do a lot of benchmarking and all that, and it is based on the revenue of the company between this, and this should be your benchmark, and then we do the comparison. But how do we get that benchmark number? Is there a process to do it? Is it average out or something? It is just like from my interest perspective to understand.
It's more of common sense. It's more of a common sense that what makes sense. As I said, two statements I made, that I gave you example that PepsiCo wants to compare themselves with Coca-Cola performance, but you don't start comparing Sharma Ji Ka Dukaan with Amazon. So whatever makes sense. For example, let us say there are two companies which are competitors. Let me take example of BSNL versus Airtel. Even though they are both in the same domain of operations, they are not comparable companies, because the situation that BSNL faces versus that the Airtel faces are completely different. So the answer to your question, unfortunately, is it depends. Wherever it makes sense to compare two entities, go ahead and do it. At some places, it may make sense to compare only some of the aspects of two companies. For example, for BSNL and Airtel, still there may be certain aspects that you can go ahead and compare. But there may be certain aspects that you cannot, because their mandate is different, the way they are run is different, their entire background is different. Okay? So situation to situation, it depends. If the comparison makes sense, go ahead and do it and gain certain insightful information. For example, you would want to know that, okay, we are spending 25% on COGS. Are we doing good or bad? Last year, we are 23%. Okay, actually, this was a very interesting. So this question was very much, even now it is there in economic discourse. So for example, there may be a lot of people, somebody will say that, let us say India was growing at, let us say 9% just recently, but now India is growing only at, let us say, whatever percent, I don't know, let's take some random percent, 6%. So that means that India is doing bad. So on absolute numbers, it may look a right conclusion to make. But then let us say you are saying that rest of the world has also fallen down, but they have fallen down to a 1% growth. They were growing earlier at, let us say, 7%, and from 7% they are growing at 1%. But India has fallen from 9% to 6%. So now if you say, are you doing good or bad? The kind of example I want to give is that, let us say you have two pieces of information, that Indian cricket team lost in the final. Indian cricket team lost in the final. That is one piece of information, World Cup final. Second piece of information is that Indian football team qualified for the World Cup and won two league matches. What do you think the reaction of the general janta is going to be? Which of the information is going to be make them happy, and which of the information is going to make them sad? At one international tournament, they have qualified, they have gone on to make it to the final, and in the final they are losing. In one, they have just qualified and won 2 league matches. But now you can imagine that these two information, if anybody follows even a little bit of sports, you will be like almost to the next heaven if you are hearing the second information, but first information will be heartbreak. So that's what I'm trying to say here, that it completely depends situation to situation. There cannot be any overall guideline that do this. The only guideline is that whatever makes sense, do this, and also make sure that there are no catches. For example, this one I gave you so that at a lot of time people would want to show that they are doing data analysis, but basically they are trapping you. So you need to be ready that, okay, let us compare others. What are they doing? So a lot of time, if you look, the more you broaden your vision, the more informative you get. Yeah, Abhinav, go ahead.
Sir, you mentioned something about liquidity.
Yeah.
Can you please explain that again?
Liquidity simply means that how much cash you have. Liquidity means that what is your ability to perform meet transactions. मान लीजिए कि आपको there are certain lenders, they have lend you money, and your business is making good profit, but they have come to collect money. You have all different type of assets, but you just don't have cash, or some assets which can be very easily converted into cash. Now you are in trouble. You cannot say कि वो मेरा ऑफिस पड़ा हुआ है, उसका दरवाजा है, खोल के ले जाओ, right? Other assets do not meet transactions. Only cash or cash equivalents meet transaction. So that is what is the meaning of the word liquidity. Your ability to meet transactions in short term. ठीक है, यहाँ तक समझ आ गया? Okay, now we will go to the meat of the entire topic, that is ratio analysis, where it is a little bit required to make a little bit of effort to understand the topic. Ratios is the fourth way of analyzing financial statement, or fourth more important way to analyze financial statement. Just because we are going to spend more time here doesn't mean that this is more important than the first three. These all four are equally important. Also, it doesn't mean that there could not be any other way. If there are other ways, then go ahead and find out and let me also know. In general, these are the most frequently used ways. So we will discuss ratio analysis. Now, what is ratio analysis? Simply, you will have in ratio, you will have a numerator and you will have a denominator. Two numbers will be divided. These two numbers will be so carefully chosen that they will be giving you certain insight about the business, which you can process to understand an aspect about the business. Now, these aspects can be of 4 types. You can make certain ratios to understand the liquidity of a business. You can make certain ratios to understand solvency of the business. You can make certain ratios to understand efficiency of a business. Now, this last one is more like a conglomeration of some of the ratios. These are also important ratios, but just because it's in the book, it is given as these 4 sections. I have made it as these 4 sections. We are going to talk about ratios. What is ratio? Ratio is simply, let us say you take in numerator your sales, or rather, let us say in numerator is your net profit and in denominator is your sales. Now, is this number going to be any significance to us? Yes, it does. It tells me that for 100 rupee of sale, or for our 1 rupee of sale, how much profit have I made? Now, again, needless to say, for these numbers also, as Pulkit was mentioning earlier, that for all of these numbers, you can go ahead and compare yourself with your own past or with your peers. So that part will continue to apply everywhere. But the point is that I have divided net profit and sales. I could have divided any random numbers. For example, the debtors divided by rent outstanding. But maybe that is not that important of a number. But this number is a little bit of more relevance and intuition to us. So we will see what are some of the commonly used, very important thing, I am using the word commonly used. That means that the ratios we are going to see are just some of the famous ones. And corollary is that there can be some more ratios that you can create on your own, or you can find it somewhere which are relevant in certain situations. But here we are going to see some of the most frequently used ones. Now, when we are going to study the ratios, we would want to build our understanding in two aspects. These two aspects are that if I tell you a ratio, can you think of a stakeholder who would want to use it? And can you think of whether they would want this ratio to be high or low? It may so turn out almost like a gift given in a wedding function. Like somebody will like the gift, somebody will not like the gift. Somebody would want the ratio to be high, somebody would want the same ratio to be low. So it's your duty to be having this understanding that who all would want this ratio to put upwards, who would want this ratio to be pushed downwards. There may be some ratios which most of the people would want to push upwards, or there may also be ratios which everybody would want to push the ratios downwards, but you should have this understanding. And then as a corollary, you should also have the understanding that if you are a particular stakeholder, then what sort of ratios will be useful for you. So if you know the ratio, who is going to use it, and if you know the user, what sort of ratios is going to be useful for you. So we'll try to build the intuition in both ways. But needless to say, before I proceed, I will give you these two caveats. The two caveats are that this list is not exhaustive. As I told you, we are just going to understand some of the famous ratios. तो कल को कहीं किसी आपके जॉब में या कहीं बुक में या कहीं एक आपने पढ़ लिया, अरे ये रेशियो तो पढ़ा ही नहीं, हमारे पैसे लूट गए. नहीं, ऐसा नहीं है, सारे रेशियोज पढ़ा ही नहीं सकते. You can imagine anything and you can create your own ratios as well. You think that for your company, maybe let us say money spent by average customer divided by number of customers. Makes sense. Or I don't know, that is per customer. Okay, let us say money spent per customer, that is revenue divided by number of customer. Makes sense for your business. Then that is a good ratio for you. Go ahead and do it. Go ahead and analyze it with your own past and with your peers. That we are not going to do the exhaustive list, but we are going to study some of the frequently used ones. And for different industries and for different stakeholders, this list can keep on changing. For example, there is a term for the telecommunication industry, right? That how much is revenue generated from per customer. There is a standard term, I'm forgetting that.
ARPU, sir.
ARPU.
ARPU. ARPU, sir.
ARPU, yeah. Average revenue per unit. Okay, yeah. So similarly, you can have different ratios for different stakeholders and different industries. So be flexible for that, and also be imaginative that if you think that in certain decision making, a new type of a ratio is making more sense for you, don't be hesitant to go ahead and try it out. You might be in for more insights than you have. You might have gone with the fixed list that we are going to see here. And then, very importantly, the formulas are also not universal. बोलो कि list भी fixed नहीं है, formula भी fixed नहीं है, तो fix है क्या? Unfortunately, the instructions for exams are the only fixed things. Other than that, it's all flexible area. We cannot tell you that divide this number and divide that number, because completely it depends. Situation of one business is different from another business. So situation of businesses also differ over a period of time. So for example, there is a ratio called a debt to equity ratio. Debt to equity ratio. Now you will see that in certain books or in certain situation, here the word debt only means the loan or the borrowing or the interest paying debt. Interest paying debt. In certain books, you will see that everything which is not equity is debt. Now both of these formulas may be correct. It only means that when you are creating a formula in a certain manner, then its meaning should also be understood in accordance to that. Okay? So here the formulas can also be different. Fortunately for us, for the exam purposes, we will follow that version of the formula as it has been given in the book. Now, unfortunately, books also, we have 2 books, so I don't want to take any chances. Let me freeze it as RNS book. So whichever way the formulas have been mentioned in the RNS book, R. Narayan Swamy book, that is what we will do for the purposes of this class. But do not forget, let me repeat it any number of times, that in real life, the computation can be, the notation of the formulas can also be different, and also the way you compute it can also be different. So be flexible for that. So once we have flexibility, let us get started. So first we will go with this direction, that we will assume ourselves to be a stakeholder, and we will try to imagine all sort of ratios that we would need. Okay? Yahan tak koi question? Okay, so I will just move away from my presentation and I will go to my notes. My notes. कैसे इसको and show. Okay, अभी के अभी सबको बैंक मैनेजर बनाते थे. Let us say all of you are the bank managers, the lending manager of a business. Okay, you have just been appointed as lending manager of a business. Now there is a person who has a business. Let us say there is a person called Mrityunjay. He has a business shop called Mrityunjay Furniture Shop. Okay, and he is approaching you for approving a loan. Now I'm there, I'm approaching you for a loan, and you get to decide whether to approve the loan or not. Forget that I'm your professor. Okay, just imagine any case, any normal case. My question is that what sort of questions you will ask before deciding that the loan should be given? क्या पूछोगे मेरे से?
Salary, sir.
Asset कितने?
अरे बिजनेस के लिए लेने आया हूँ, सैलरी मत पूछो यार, वो भी प्रोफेसर की नहीं ऐसा मत।
Asset and current
liability.
How many years in business? Years in business.
Years in business. तो वो बोलते हैं ना कि जैसे लड़कियों की एज नहीं पूछते ना, वैसे लड़कों की सैलरी नहीं पूछते. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. So somebody is saying years of business. So how many years I have been in business? Let us say this is my 6-month-old business. 6-month-old business. अब बताओ, प्रतीक बताओ.
Sir, profit and loss.
Profit and loss. So you would want to see my profits. Okay, very good profit.
Correct.
Let's
Sir, collateral को क्या रखेंगे?
Let's say right now I'm making losses. Okay.
नहीं वो top line and bottom line liabilities भी होगा ना.
Okay, I will give you certain numbers. Just to be a little bit in the ballpark, I will give you certain numbers. Let us say the loan I am approaching, the amount of the loan is 5 lakh rupees. And the interest rate that the bank is quoting in general is, let us say 10%, just for convenience sake. So this is what is under consideration. So will you give me the loan or not? Ask me the question. Okay, somebody is asking assets. Let us say I have an asset worth rupees. So one thing somebody said is asset. Manish is saying, somebody else is also saying asset. Let us say I have assets worth rupees 29 lakhs so far. So will you give me the loan, Manish?
No, sir. I have written turnover and profit also. Like first I will ask turnover, then profit, and then.
Okay,
so we will see his cash flow.
Okay, cash flow देख लेंगे, turnover देख लेंगे, profit देख लेंगे, सब कुछ देख लेंगे. चलो.
सिबिल स्कोर भी देख लेंगे. ओनर का सिबिल स्कोर भी देख लेंगे.
Profit, सिबिल स्कोर,
capital and retained earnings.
Because the business
retained earning, capital, retained earnings. Okay. और कोई नया number?
Sir, business is just 6 months old, so maybe the bank will look for some security or collateral.
Collateral बहुत बढ़िया. Collateral चाहिए भाई इनको. बोले कि तुम उतने पुराने हो नहीं. I don't trust you basically. Okay. CFO देख लो यार. और बताओ. What else will you see? Any new information?
Current debt.
Current debt देख लेते हैं. Current debt देख लेते हैं. Okay, fine. Anything else?
और कितना लोन लिया है?
और कितना लोन लिया है? Current debt मतलब हिंदी अंग्रेजी का थोड़ा तो ऐसा करो यार.
Future projections.
Future projections. Okay, future is always bright, you know. Future projections. Fine. Let us go one by one. I think अभी के लिए इतना मसाला काफी है. Let us go to assets. My first question is 5 lakh rupees of loan is needed. I have 29 lakh rupees of assets. Will you give me the loan?
सर मैं तो ये
No, sir.
पूछूंगी कि बेच के लोन क्यों ले रहे हो? बेच
नो सर, सिंपल क्वेश्चन,
ये
सिंपल
कौन है? ये
आंसर.
है कौन? बेच के लोन क्यों ले रहे हो? बेच के कौन है? ये जरा नाम दिखाना, बताना. श्वेता. श्वेता एक बात बताओ कि मतलब रिलायंस को अगर फंड रेज करना है तो बोलेगा कि तुम फंड क्यों रेज कर रहे हो? बेच. अरे वो पैसे पार्टी करने के लिए थोड़ी मांग रहा है, वो बिजनेस को एक्सपेंड करने के लिए पैसे मांग रहा है.
लेकिन सर रेशियो बहुत कम है ना, यानी 30 लाख और 5 लाख, यानी उस हिसाब से मैं सोच रही हूँ. यानी मे बी
नहीं वैसे मत सोचो. जस्ट ट्राई टू इमेजिन अ बिजनेस लेटर से आप ओके यू आर ऑल फ्रॉम दिल्ली राइट, तो तुमको दिल्ली का एग्जांपल समझ में आएगा. लेट अस इमेजिन अग्रवाल स्वीट्स. ओके अब वो फ्रेंचाइज चलाता है कि नहीं? अभी अग्रवाल स्वीट्स है कि बंद हो गया? बहुत सालों से
हमेशा चलेगा.
बहुत सारे सर.
ओके
पूरे
भावना में नहीं पाएंगे. ओके मुझे भी भूख लग रही है अभी थोड़ी थोड़ी. व्हाट वी आर ट्राइंग टू से हियर इज दैट जस्ट इमेजिन द बिजनेस ऑफ अग्रवाल स्वीट्स. फॉर द आर्गुमेंट सेक लेट अस assume that all these shops are owned by the same business. तो आपका let us say कि आपको मुखर्जी नगर में एक अग्रवाल स्वीट्स है. That is where it started. I don't know where it started. I'm just assuming. Okay. Now they want to open one in, let us say, Kingsway Camp as well. Now, what Shweta you are telling is कि इसको बेच के वहां वाला खोल लो ना. Does it make sense?
नहीं सर, यानी
Just because you have existing asset doesn't mean anything. You may need money for expansion. Okay. So asset, when they are asking that how much asset they have, the inherent question is that the more the asset you already have, more will be the chances that you will not default. Or if you default, then I will sell those assets and get my money. Is it right thing to say?
Yes, sir.
Asset, आपका existing asset क्या? For what purpose do you need this information? The only information, the purpose it is serving is that you have the capability of selling those assets and recovering your money in case of a default.
Yes, sir.
Now, before moving forward, let us think that a default can be for what purposes? What are we worried about? For example, let us say today government comes and says that if Agarwal Sweets makes a default, I will pay you the money. Then will you ask them all these questions? You will just bypass this?
No.
What does it mean? You just bypassed all of these criteria. जितना time waste किया था आपने financial statement analysis पढ़ने में, सब bypass कर दिया. Why? Because there your worry gets resolved. What is your worry? The only worry you have is that there will be a default.
Right.
When you are lending, the only worry is that there will be a default. Default for what? Default for only two items. One is the interest payment, one is the principal payment. So basic first line of understanding is to answer any questions in financial statement, always do the first thing, that set your objective. You should understand that what do you want. Now within that, it may make sense for you to bifurcate these objectives. This I am going to demonstrate to you very shortly. That here a default itself is not sufficient. A default about the interest payment, or rather a doubt about whether they will pay the interest payment, or a doubt about whether they will make the principal repayment, can be of the different nature. Why? Because this one is a periodic payment, this one is a one-time payment. I'm assuming that it is not an EMI system of a loan. Let us say the loan is like a typical business loan, a bullet loan, where here you have taken 5 lakh rupees, here you have taken 5 lakh rupees. Every period you keep on paying interest, and in the last period, let us say it is a 12-year loan. In the last year, you pay interest as well as principal amount back. So when the obligation is, as far as the obligation is concerned, the nature of interest obligation is periodic. So to see its safety, you should see some periodic information. Make sense? Nature of principal repayment is one time. So to see its safety, you should see one time information like that is available from the balance sheet. Yahan tak samajh aaya? Don't. What did I do? I fixed my objective. I said that objective is that I am worried about the default. Then I said that within default also I am worried about the default of interest payment and default of principal repayment. Because their natures are different, then I would want to have a different kind of information about getting assured that interest payment this company will not default. Then I would want to have different kind of information to be assured that principal is also safe, principal will also not be defaulted. Now let us go to both of these one by one. Anyone we can start with. Let us start with, for example, principal. How do you know principal amount is safe or not? In case the person runs away, he becomes a new Malya. What are you going to do? What is going to provide you safety net?
Assets.
Long-term assets.
Assets.
Long-term assets.
Assets. Okay. Assets. Okay. Anybody else?
The collateral, whatever he has.
Collateral. Very good. Collateral. Everybody understands that primarily we are looking at the balance sheet information.
So
Makes
guarantors or those kind of people.
Guarantors also, collateral and guarantors are of the same nature.
Right.
That somebody else is providing you the security. Okay, let us ignore the guarantor. Let us say that I'm a new business, because guarantor business is suddenly it will take you that you analyze the guarantor, not the borrower himself. Right. So guarantor for the time being, I will try to assume that there is no guarantor. Okay. Long-term asset. Let us say I wanted 5 lakh rupees of loan, right? How much of a long-term asset you think is going to give you satisfaction कि हाँ अभी तो हमारे पास enough cushion है. 25 lakh rupees of assets, is it sufficient? 5 lakh का लोन लेने आ रहा हूँ. I already have a business size of 25 lakh rupees. Is it good enough?
Yes.
Depend on life.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Aha, that's the catch. That just because you currently have, just hold on, Ashima. I'm so sorry. Just hold on for one moment. Okay, go ahead. I'm so sorry. You are speaking for the first time. I don't know.
No, sir. I've been speaking a lot. No. I just wanted to say कि 25 लाख पूरा अभी हमें नहीं पता because और लोगों का भी stake होगा उसमें.
Yes, exactly. So exactly correct. Two people said the same point. Just because you have certain asset doesn't mean that these assets are all available for you. What if your balance sheet looks something like this? That in the asset side you have 25 lakh rupees of assets, but in the liability side you have equity of let us say 10,000 something, and already you have a debt of 2490. 24,90,000 का आपके पास already debt है. Now is this business safe business or a very dicey business to give loan to?
Very dicey, sir.
Very, very dicey.
What has changed? You still have assets worth rupees 25 lakhs, right? So asset itself is not an enough information. You need to know that of these assets, how much is the equity. Owner का अपना free claim कितना है उसमें? Only owner's claim you can sell off and get, right? For all of the remaining, you will also be in the queue. Everybody knows that what is liquidation. जब बिजनेस बंद होता है तो लिक्विडेट कैसे करते हैं और किसको किस ऑर्डर में पैसे मिलते हैं? डू यू गाइस नो दैट?
नो सर.
ओनर को लास्ट में मिलता है.
नो सर.
सबसे पहले
let us say this is a business called, let us say, Island FS, and the business has gone bust. There will be so many people who the business needs to pay to. So there is a very, like, different countries will of course will have different order to this depending upon what sort of rules and regulations they will have in place. But one sequence that is going to be common across all the countries is that the first of all you will pay the salaries of employees. Then you will pay all the outside debt.
The secured debt would be the first, right?
Within that also you will pay the secured debt, and then you will pay the unsecured debt. What do you mean by secured debt? The one which has any collateral. That too not fully, only to the extent that collateral gave you. For rest of the money, you are also unsecured debt. And then only finally, if some money is left, then equity guys will be paid. In general, this is the sequence. Okay, so salary, I don't know, for different countries, it can be up or down. I don't know. Maybe it can be up or down than the secured loan. But one thing is going to be common, that the outside mute kar do bhai. Only thing that is going to be common is that all the outside parties will be met their obligations first, and only if some money is left, equity will be able to get some money. So if the equity itself was, let us say the situation was reversed, that current debt was 10,000 rupees and equity was 24,90,000 rupees. That means what is 25 लाख में से इनको 10,000 देने हैं और आपका 5 लाख बचेगा. So you will have almost about 2490 lakh rupees or 24,90,000 rupees to sell off from to recover your 5 lakh rupees. So now you have a good cushion. But in the previous case, you didn't have much of a cushion. So in your mind, basically the number you are looking for are these ratios called either debt to equity ratio or corollary. There are 2-3 corollaries to the same ratio. It is called, let us say, debt to total asset ratio or equity to total assets ratio, or you can have equity to debt ratio, or you can have equity to total asset ratio. किसी भी way में इसको calculate कर दो, meaning is going to be remain same. If you are calculating debt to equity, then as a lender, you would want this ratio to be as low as possible. That means the debt should be as low as possible and the equity should be as high as possible. Then you will be more confident about your principal amount being safe, right? So the bottom line of the first discussion is that sometimes you may be looking for an information, but you may want to have that information in a stylized manner. What is the stylized manner here? That we wanted to know whether our principal is safe. For that, we went and referred to income balance sheet, but the total asset might not be all available for me. So let us go and calculate a ratio that how much of the total asset is available for me. And one of the frequently used ratio is either debt to total asset ratio or debt to equity ratio. यहाँ तक समझ में आया that debt to equity ratio will be a better information. Let's go to the next information. Before that, any questions? Okay, fine. Now somebody said that we will look at collateral. Now this collateral business is a very tricky business actually. Collateral business को अभी break के बाद करते हैं, ठीक है? I am also feeling a little bit hungry. So let's meet at how much? 15 minutes break is good enough?
सर 15 मिनट में तो खाना खुद बनाना है.
अब खाना खुद बनाना है, उसका कुछ नहीं कर सकते यार. फिर तो तुम टॉफी खा के फिर वापस आ जाओ. Let's meet at कितना हो रहा है अभी? 3:40 ना? 3:40 ना? तो चलो 4 o'clock. Okay. So 22 minutes of a break. Bye. See you at 4.
Thank you, sir.
So
you can stop the recording.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for reminding. Stop recording here.